I like lemon.
Hello and welcome to another television review here from MBE. I'm your co-host Stephen and this is John sitting beside me here
Pair
for
of slapheads.
Yes, another right said Fred. Deeply. Well, let's not go there. We're on to
Stephen, let's be honest.
John, we're on to Bobby Charlton and Jackie Charlton. We're on to
Oh, I would never do that.
Wait a minute. Anyway, moving swiftly on before we lose any more hair. Scam 1992, the Harshad Mehta story. We've just covered episode 3, John. And that was about half an hour ago, 40 minutes ago. We're now moving on to episode 4, which you have said in your own words, this is your favourite episode so far.
Absolutely.
And it's titled Harshad Mehta is a Liar. Now I'll just read the slight synopsis here that comes in from IMDb. This is getting a 9.2, slightly more than the previous episodes. This is the highest rating one to date. And this is...
That surprised me.
No, it doesn't at all, John, and we'll get into that. But Harshad's sudden success catches the attention of the financial journalist Shuseta Dalla, who is actively looking for proof against him. Will Harshad at all get to enjoy his extravagant life to his heart's content? Well, we're just about to find that out. As I hand over this review to yourself now, John, and you're going to take us through this experience.
Well, in short, no, she doesn't.
No.
Because he's a slippery snake of a man, but a brilliant slippery snake of a man. I'm being brave, I'm saying lots of S words whilst I've been drinking. And it's strong beer, let me tell you, it's Belgian. But Stephen, introduction, really good introduction. Again, we're carrying on from the third episode where we're starting to establish this journalist character, Shuseta Dalla.
Yeah.
We're starting to expand it out a bit. We're showing more characters, and we start off with a meeting between her, and this is the first of many moments with Shuseta in this episode. She really is front and centre, probably second only to actual Harshad in this episode for screen time. But she's basically talking to an inside informer. I think it is, or maybe just a friend. I don't know who it is, but they're revealing the extent of Mehta's involvement with the Indian regional banks and the extent of the corruption.
Yeah.
He's took clean credit of 500 crores from a bank, and he's not even trying to hide it in bank receipts, and I think it's SGIs or something, or SGUs, Social Guideline Index, SGI or something like that. Still not quite on with these, what do you call them?
Abbreviations,
acronyms. Yeah, abbreviations, that's probably the best one. But yeah, it just establishes that this guy is getting more and more careless. He thinks he's untouchable. He just doesn't care. He's taking 500 crores to invest in the stock market. And it's came to the attention of Shuseta, and she's really now starting to investigate this guy a little bit more closely. And I think this is, as we move on, is going to be the undoing of Harshad. He's got a nice little number here. He could live quite happily at the level he's operating
John,
at. But as we said before, he's got this insatiable desire to have more, to become bigger and better, and that's going to be his undoing.
You make that word, John, undoing. At this point, I would say that it's going to be the undoing of one or the other of these characters. Either Harshad, you've not got the graphic up, John, by the way, or
we're too close now, Stephen. I changed the camera. Now we're too close. I may have to walk off camera while you're speaking and sort that out.
That's fine. It's okay.
I'm going to move, Stephen. I'm going to quickly. If you want to fire away, I'll be back.
I think, John, I think that is the sort of key point here that you're making about it's going to be the undoing. Money's on, it's going to be Harshad's undoing, but at this point no one's challenged him.
Yes.
No one's questioning him, or they are questioning, but they're not pursuing it, they're not pushing it. His brother's concerned, he's worried out his little mind, which we'll get into. It's coming up to him on a Sunday and questioning things.
That was the other guy, that was the baldy guy. He came to him in the house.
Yeah, I think.
Why are you speaking about business at home?
Yeah, it's Sunday. I'm reading my magazine on this lovely luxurious sofa. Give me peace. Shuseta, on the other hand, it's almost a slight obsession she's got. I don't know who her co-worker was, but every opportunity, every sort of window that this guy's got, he's warning her, just be careful, you know, because
this guy's untouchable.
You don't know what you're dealing with here, and if you do, then you know you've got to suffer the consequences if you push it, and that's what we're getting at the moment. But it was a good introduction, John. It was, as I said from episode 3, the Shuseta character, mainly through narration, and then that little bit at the very end, suggested and rightly so, that we were going to see more of her in episode 4, and we did, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, Stephen, look, you says he was warning her time and again. He was also warning her that, look, he's got a nice little number going here. The economy's doing well, India's doing well, this stock exchange is doing well, the market's at levels it's never seen before.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting a little bit of it. So why would you want to upset it? There's no need to. Everyone's winning here. But she doesn't like him. She admits that she doesn't like Harshad.
Yeah.
And he says, well, you're one of the only ones. And because she doesn't like him and she knows he's up to no good, through this 500 crores sort of credit that he gets, it kind of reveals the extent of what's going on here. That sends her down this path, this obsessive path of trying to get him. And that's really what the whole concept of this episode is, really. It's her nodding and prodding around in little nooks and crannies of this guy's business and dealings.
Yeah.
The taxman nodding and prodding around in his little nooks and crannies of his business, and him trying to sort of parry them away like a master fencing master. You know, these guys with the big sort of mask on and the prodding, and he has to parry it. And he's a master parrier, this guy. As we see, as we move through, he's always a step ahead. He's like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. Yeah. And Steve, we see that he continues his work in alternative channels, doing deals with companies. He's not doing it in the regular means of doing business. They want to invest in India, but they want to invest in it secretly. And this guy's just the person to go to if you want to invest secretly, because he invests the money in the stock exchange, makes himself richer, makes his clients richer. Something else established. You invest money with Harshad, you win and he wins. No one ever loses.
Yeah.
And also, you see that he's having this meeting with a company. He's trying to convince this guy, let me invest in you.
It's
your
the son
true
that
worth.
Introduces, isn't it?
Yeah.
Through the father, yeah.
Yeah, your true worth. And he says, what is your true worth?
Yeah.
And he says, I'm hoping to double. He's like, no, I'll give you 400, I think.
That's one thing I'll say about Harshad. We don't really get to see a lot of his business meetings.
It's not Marshall Lynch.
But I think one thing I've noticed about him in that particular meeting is that he's very upfront. And he doesn't lie. He does, and he also says what his intentions are. He actually says to that guy that, I don't even want a seat on your board. You know, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not trying to take over your company. I'm trying to make your company better. And in doing that, obviously, when companies are doing better, they're making profit. Yeah. And all he is saying is, I will have some of that profit, but I'll be the one that makes that company successful. And I can imagine that's what most of his meetings are like anyway. Yeah. He's very straight down the line. He's not devious in the sense of doing things behind your back.
Yeah.
He's devious in bending the system and finding the loopholes.
And that's why he's such a divisive maverick figure. People seem to hate this guy, people seem to love him, because he wasn't an out and out antagonist, an out and out bad guy. He was just playing the market, bending the rules and making money for everybody. Obviously he made more money for himself, and he did commit fraud, but I don't really care about that. I like mavericks, and this guy's a maverick, so I love this guy. And you see this, Stephen, his conversation with his brother Ashman too. He's signalling his intent to make Grow more bigger. I've said Marshall Lynch. It is not Marshall Lynch. It's some American famous bank. My dogs kill me here. And he wants to grow it bigger than them. He says, look how much money they're earning and compared to what we're earning. I want to be bigger than them. And his brother essentially says he's delusional, to paraphrase. And this is just, it continues this vibe through the episode too. The ignominy, is that the correct word? I don't know. The tensions between the two brothers. They were once on the same page, growing this out from stock traders to I think it was a trading account, to brokers, to advisors, to entering the money market. They were always on the same page. They have joint offices in this huge big office space. Now they're starting to separate. He says he's getting greedy, he's getting a little bit risky, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. But Harshad's like, come on, you little minded fool, come on, let's get on with it. I know what I'm doing. I always make money. I'll find ways to finance all this. Yeah. And you see, that's another theme that continues through. Not only Susheta investigating all of his issues and the taxman coming after him, but the sort of deviation between the two brothers. What did you make about that, Stephen? The ambition of this guy, trying to grow his company, his trading company, or his advising company, whatever they are. Yeah. Is it something that shocks you? Because it doesn't shock me. This guy's just, his ambition's never ending.
No, I don't think nothing's stopping him to where he wants to go. You know, where he wants to reach, where his end game is. You know, I'm sure, you know, after 10 episodes of this, we'll get to see that. Although it suggests to me, John, they're actually naming this series season 1, which suggests to me, is there going to be a second season?
See, that's something I'm not sure about, because by this episode we're into 92.
Yeah.
And it's Scam 1992. It gets unveiled in 92. And that's something that concerns me. I don't know how this is going to go now, this TV show.
Maybe we're looking into it too much.
If we rushed, maybe there's going to be flashbacks again, but if we rushed, I don't know, when did this start? 78?
Yeah.
14 years worth of storytelling just to get to 92, then we're going to linger
After
on it
3 episodes
for 6 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
It concerns me. That's the only thing that concerns me about this TV show.
Yeah, but
we've rushed all the way to 92. We've got 6 episodes to go.
Yeah.
But as I did say, the fall of empires, the fall of these people who have established this wealth is usually the best part. And dissecting the fall and all the things that went on, that's probably the best part, and that's what we're going to get to see in the final 6
episodes. I think as well, John, I think, next week we'll be halfway through the season anyway, and it'll be interesting to see if that's the way it's going to go. If it's going to hit its peak by halfway through the season, then we're going to see the decline of the character. I don't know. Excuse you. But
which would be like Harshad.
But I'm very interested to see where this is going. But I wasn't really surprised on the progression of the character.
No.
This was something that was established very early on in the season. Anyway, he's a guy that doesn't rest in his laurels. He's always looking for bigger and better, and nothing's going to stop him.
Nothing's going to stop him now. No, but obviously it does. The taxman, Shusheta, clearly, little piranha, nibbling away at his heels.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shusheta, speaking of which, she continues to suspect Mehta's guilt in this episode. She's investigating his deals, his movements. Stephen, I love the way that this episode, it says here, expands the story. Instead of it just being focused on Harshad, his dealings, his rise, all of his connections, from Praneth, is it, to Hashwan, and the other little bald guy that thinks he's a partner, but he's just a gopher in a sense.
We'll get his name one day.
We'll get it. I'll look it up. He's a great actor, don't get me wrong, good character, but he's a side character, clearly. Instead of focusing on that, it expands our story out beautifully. I've said there's perhaps 3-4 different perspectives. You've got Shusheta and they're investigating. Harshad continue to do his deals and expand his wealth. You've got the rival bear gang cartel, the AJ and I'm going to look it up again. I've got it down there. The name begins with T. Tiaji. Their group at Citibank. You've also got the tax investigation thing. There's 4-way storytelling going on in this, and this is when I start to enjoy TV shows. I like the expanding and the bonding to a character, but when you start expanding it out into multiple plot threads and perspectives, plot threads and perspectives, that's when it becomes really interesting. I've done it again.
John, I think I think as well that it's important to do that. You've got to expand on your subplots, if you like. That's what they are. They're subplots. The main story here is obviously Harshad and Mehta and his perspective and where he is. But it's good to see that we're getting to see all these other side players getting more airtime, and seeing it from their perspective, see how they're concerned about this main character, seeing how what they're going to do to try and halt him, which they obviously try and do. But it's that's what makes it. It's almost like a game of chess, and you're getting to see all these moves. Very strategic moves from all the players that are in this series, and it's going to be very interesting to see when this hits peak point, and what happens.
Well, Stephen, the club scene is one of the most bizarre moments. It Manu's little fat gopher guy, he's dancing.
Do you know that was like? That was like a GTA video. Do you know those little bits you get in the middle?
Man.
They're always so funny, and they're always like out of character for what you thought was the antagonist.
The money.
Yeah, it was very cartoon-like.
There's no way he belongs in that club. He belongs in a basement. That's where he belongs. But the reason behind it is it's to show you these guys are still hanging around. They're watching Harshad's moves. They're working with the likes of AJ and Tiaji, the Citibank group, and that is established in the next scene when they start meeting with, I can't think it's Griswold or something like that.
Road.
It's not Griswold. There's no way it's Griswold. But it's a bank that Harshad's dealt with. He's got stocks. He's putting stocks in that company. They convinced the bank manager to sell the stocks early to try and undercut Harshad. And that's a great moment. Again, it's showing you multi-perspective. It's showing you these guys that don't like him, that want to bring him down. They're working studiously, both work to bring this guy down. And that's a great moment because Harshad gets wind of it and he says a great line, and I'm going to read it out here. I think it's actually, I've moved a couple of points on, which doesn't really matter. I'm paraphrasing here. He says he was going to shove a stick so far up that their balls that they'd lose their compass or something like that. Again, maybe lost in translation, but this guy's got away with words. And I love that moment, and it shows you this guy's he's getting birds everywhere, little birds that are hearing stories, and that's so important moving forward to the end of this. But what did you make about the meddling, the scheming of the Citibank guys? Did you care?
John, it's funny because my perspective and my impression of them early on, I think episode 3, was that they were more astute, they were more wise and more comfortable in their own skin and their dealings. What you're actually seeing is these pathetic little men, and it kind of unravels in this episode, where you're seeing that they're not any better or any worse than Harshad. In fact, I would say they're worse, because
they're not doing it as well.
They're very sneaky, and they're doing everything behind. They're having little meetings about meetings and stuff like that, scheming away, and it's a total.
And ultimately, they're about self-worth, Stephen, and gain. Whereas Harshad, he's gaining too. But as I did say previously, all his clients, all of the companies he's investing in, they're gaining hugely alongside him. So
reputation's an important thing for Harshad. That's why.
It is, and Stephen, we see that in this episode. Because he starts coming under strain, he's arguing with his brother over taking 500 crores without receipts. It's all out in the open. His brother thinks everything's going to tumble down. It's very prescient, because it is, or prophetic even. It's not prescient, that's not the correct word. His enemies start getting a little bit bolder. They're starting to make moves. They're starting to try to come against him. And this is when we see him playing cricket in the Sunday, and his little bald friend, I'm going to bring it up because I keep forgetting this guy's name. It's right there. Bushan Bat. I'm talking about bald. He's got more hair than me. Jesus Christ, he hasn't. That's an absolute lie. I just cut my hair short. It's definitely, I've got more hair than Chirag Vora, for sure. But he interrupts him. He offers him a samosa, I think it is.
Yeah.
Or something that looked amazing. Jesus Christ, he knocked it back. What's wrong? He knocked back whiskey, and he's knocking back samosas. He's not my kind of guy after all. My two favourite things, drinking food. I'm Scottish. But Stephen, it does this.
Fried food as well.
Yeah, fried food, absolutely.
Deep fried.
Oh yeah, chippies, I love them. Funny enough, my good Indian friend loved them too. That's why he had to leave, because he was getting fat. But Stephen, this is an important scene. Because it's the first moment we see maybe a chink in the armour of Harshad. This guy's been imperious up to this point. He's been batting things away. He just keeps earning money. Even when he has a dip in luck or form, he bounces back. This is when you start seeing that it's affecting him a little bit. He's getting worried. He's seeing ghosts at the corner of his eyes and stuff like that. The little guy comes along and says something about the stock exchange. He says, what was it, Ash, when it said? He's like, no, I'm talking about myself.
Because he said partner.
Yeah, partner. He's talking about himself.
He took offence to that,
because he's not a partner.
He doesn't regard him as John.
But it's important, Stephen, because this is when things start to close in, and this is what the episode's called. Harshad Mehta is a liar. He has to do an article.
He has to redeem his reputation, John. I think that's why he's playing cricket as well. I think that's to sort of relieve the tension and the stress. But
cricket's great, man. It's great to play. It's terrible to watch.
There's also
a
very important part in that as well, where you're seeing the sort of original members of his lineup are starting to the cracks are appearing slightly. They're starting to wonder how loyal Harshad is to them, especially that character with the samosa. I can't remember his name. Samosa boy. Yeah, I think
samosa guy.
He did take offence because when he said samosa guy, when he did say he was referring to himself as partner, he obviously Harshad thought he was talking about the other chap, and you could see in his face, how do you see me? How do you perceive me? What is my position in this company? And that's basically what it is, which is quite a shame because
it brings me samosas when I'm playing cricket.
They were very level. Episode 1, they were very similar. And
he showed them the ropes.
Yeah, they were on. He introduced them to certain characters as well. But this shows the sort of difference, the decline in the acceleration of Harshad as well, and his sort of career goals, and that seems very important as well. It shows you there's a point where one's going in one direction and one's going in another. But you're right. I think that the title of this episode as well is a great title. But obviously we'll get into that, John. We'll get into the reason why he has to take this article out. He wants it in a form of a sort of a newspaper sort of headline article as well, that this advert's going to appear. So it looks like it's actually a report on him being a liar, but when you actually read the article, it's anything but.
Yeah, it's a sort of promotional thing. Yeah, he wants it originally to be Harshad Mehta is clean, and they're like, that's too...
The marketing girls, yeah,
that's too obvious or something. It's too on the nose.
Yeah.
He says they'll just think you're a liar anyway, and he says you're right. So why don't we just say Harshad Mehta is a liar? I need to watch what I'm doing with this. Incidentally, it's going to end in tears. And look, it's an important moment. And look, you were right what you said, Stephen, as well, about the difference in the Bushan Bat character. You can tell our memories. We're like 90-year-olds, guys.
Yeah.
I'm 31.
John,
I feel like I'm
it's
90.
10 past midnight here.
Yeah, it is. It's very late. I didn't realise it was that late. Wow. Bushan Bat and Harshad Mehta. Yeah, the difference in sort of the directions. He's changing. He's going from a family man of integrity. He's becoming more and more obsessed with making money, being a success, and they go on different paths. And that's an important moment in the episode and for the story as well. It shows you this guy's changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I enjoyed the whole article that he put out, and the fact that even in adversity, it changed his fortunes. People didn't really care that he was lying. They knew that he'd make them money, and they kept investing, even more so perhaps even after that article.
Yeah.
So it showed you that this guy, there's just nothing, even when he's under strain, there's nothing he can't bat off. He's just imperious. He's a maverick, and I love the guy, as I did say. I don't even know him. Stephen, obviously, Shusheta's also continuing an investigation. She is really revealing what he's up to. We already know what he's up to. We've been following this guy. We know he's playing the bank's money in the stock market. He's gambling. She goes to Mazda, this company he's bought up. It's all a front. They're not leasing, they're not making money, but they've got 5.8 crores, I think it is, in their bank. It doesn't add up. She takes this co-worker to their headquarters. It's a grubby little house. There's 2 saloon doors on a bare wall.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. But what she's really doing, she's revealing the con game, and she's really revealing that he's funneling money through the stock markets and whatnot. She writes an article about him, digs the dirt on him, affects his sleep, I think she says.
Yeah.
And then this sets up this meeting between the two. What did you make about the Shusheta?
Did she use the same headline?
I think, yeah.
She did, didn't she?
Harshad Mehta is a liar, but instead of it being a promotional
because I
piece.
thought at first, it confused me a little bit. Obviously, when the episode played out, I got it. But at first I thought, why is he getting upset about the article now? Obviously, it's not his article. It's not his advert. But
she's done him like a kipper, as we say here, Steve.
Yes, Shusheta doesn't fear him.
No.
You know, and I think it's a very bold move from her as well.
Yeah.
And I think she's deliberately tried to get his attention as well. You know, I know what you're all about. And she doesn't look... obviously, they're meeting, which I think we'll probably get into anyway, John, now. She's not under any sort of pressure. She's not nervous about meeting this guy. She's not impressed or, you know, sycophantic in his presence or anything like that. That's why I like this character. She is set her goals. She knows what she's wanting to do, but it's obviously there's that thing that they talk about throughout this episode is evidence. You've got to be very careful, obviously, when you're reporting that you have your facts and stuff like that. But I thought it was a good way to get these two characters in the same room as well. It was going to take something bold from Shusheta to do that, and that's what she did. She got his attention. Absolutely,
Steve. She got him in the room with her, I should say. She's not a hermaphrodite or anything like that. And it was an interesting scene, perhaps the best scene in the series to date, I have to say.
Yeah, I liked it.
Because as I say in my notes, I can't really repeat what I've said, but it's the first time he's faced with someone that isn't a sycophant.
Yeah.
A sycophantic CUNT, I've said. I'll just say it.
Tuesday,
Yes. And that's an important moment because you see it with the likes of George Lucas and other circles. When you're surrounded with sycophants, yes men, if you like, yes women, it doesn't get you anywhere. You start to believe you're untouchable. This moment I hope wakes him up, but it doesn't because he gets caught obviously for fraud. But it's an important scene, and it's a great scene, the back and forth, these two, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object, if you like.
Yeah.
And the whole try to give her a job, saying this is what you'll earn, 20%, if you earn that, what will you earn? Here's what I'll give you. She knocks it back. That shows you she's a person of integrity. He used to be. He's not anymore.
He's presuming as well, because he actually brings that piece of paper that's got our, obviously, talking about our
earnings,
our earnings and stuff like that. So he's been in there presuming that he's going to buy her, you know.
Yeah. And she's not to be bought, and that's obviously presented through the line that she says, thanks for the wine, but don't always go by price grade. Expensive doesn't mean it's good.
Good line.
That was a great line. Back and forth. I like this character too. She's a great character. She's grabbed the bull by the horns. She's going after him. She's going to take him down. We know that.
The bull by the horns. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he is a bull.
Yeah.
That's what he gets called, the bull of the BSE, I think. So that was a great moment. That's probably the standout, Steve. And obviously the next moment's up there as well. he gets tipped off that the tax authorities are coming to raid his house.
Yeah, funny.
He's in the office, he clears this meeting, and they rush to clear all the evidence out of I think they clear all the paper trail, the actual physical.
Yeah, they put everything on it, discs, and obviously.
Yeah, they put it on the computer, especially PC. I'm going into the 1990s here. Scam 1992.
Yeah.
And this is a great moment.
John, we should talk about that. The look of this episode as well was very bang on the money.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work for IBM. And it was 1992.
There you go.
Those computers are spot on. That was a sort of model of the computers of the day. So you've got to compliment the makers of this series. Getting a lot of the things right. In the look and stuff like that for the period.
Absolutely, Stephen. It is, man. That's what I say. Is the quality of production, the editing, set design, everything. Just the setting period, even the colour grading and stuff. It's just a brilliantly constructed TV show. And look, man,
I liked the raid, John. I thought it was hilarious.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was so comfortable. But we say this in every episode, he doesn't get rattled too much. There's a little bits in there we talked about where he has to go and have play a cricket match just to sort of relieve the tension. But for what he's doing, he's not entirely having sleepless nights over it at all,
because he's always a step ahead.
Yeah.
And he welcomes him in. He says, "Oh, welcome, I've made you breakfast.
Yeah.
We know you're vegetarian, so we've not put any meats and stuff like that. We've got some food from the south." He's also done his research, notes that these people are from the southern part of India. He's fought everything out. He knows they're not interested in food. They're here to ransack his house and try and find any misdeeds, if you like, evidence of misdeeds. But it's just a hilarious scene, man. As you did say, he's so cocky, he's arrogant, but he's likeable at the same time.
Yeah.
He's sitting having his breakfast while they're raiding his house. He's taking the phone call from Ashwin. He's clearly not talking about are they eating breakfast, are they fasting, but he's saying no, they're not eating breakfast, no, they're not fasting, come on Ashwin, I'll see you later. He's obviously frantic because he thinks they're going to get rumbled. And it shows you the difference between everyone around him and just him. That's why it's the Harshad Mehta story. It's not the Ashwin Mehta or the I'm going to bring his name up again quickly. The Bushan Bat story.
What's a boy? Yeah,
it's all about Harshad, and that's why, because he's infallible, Stephen. Even when he knows he's done wrong.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the end of the story.
I think
even when he's rumbled and it all crumbles, I think he's still going to be likeable, even at the end. But Stephen, this was a great episode, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end, the two the sort of schemers, Tiaji and Ajay Kedia, they think they've got him. They get on the call.
Yeah,
they've fun nothing next time.
Next time. That's what they say. And I love the way the camera sort of pans from them over to the left to sort of a view of a landscape of the city.
Yeah.
And the music then kicks in. It's a great episode.
Bombay it is.
Yeah.
Stephen, final thoughts on the episode, man? You've kind of says it really. Just brilliant. This is my favourite moment
so far,
in the TV show so far.
I can see why it's getting 9.2 on IMDb, John.
Because it's expanding the world, Stephen, as I says. We're introducing more players, more antagonists, more investigators, more characters. It's expanding the world out. It's not just about Harshad, but it's still focused on him. This is when it starts getting interesting. You've established your main character. Now you're adding in all of these different people who want to make them, break them.
Exactly.
And this was just typified in this episode. Really well written, really well flowed again, edited. I watched it tonight, it flew by. All in all, really enjoyed it, man. Stand out of the TV show so far. But look, that's going to round up our review of Scam 1992, the Harshad Mehta story, episode 4.
Yeah.
Harshad Mehta is a liar. What
is
name of the episode? What's your thoughts on it down below? You can comment if you've got anything to say about the TV show, about Pratik Gandhi, anyone involved, the story, anything in general. You can comment below. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see us reviewing more content like this in the future. And if you do, that's precisely what you'll get. You'll also get reactions, movie news, everything in between. But look, as ever, until then guys, I'm going to bid you farewell with a bye.
Bye.